Hello and welcome to Colin Cymru. We're going to be going through the GCSE Business specification, some important information that you're going to need to know. Some of this, most of it is applicable to the 2025 exam. However, there are some sections that are going to be applicable for the new specification, and I'll let you know when those bits come up. So we'll get cracking with it. So we're going to start off with some business fundamentals to start with. So first of all, you're going to need to make sure that you know what the difference between a good and service is. So a business or an organisation that produces a good or a service supplies service, and a good is a physical product and a service is an intangible item. So that's something that you can't touch. So like, for example, financial advice is something you can't touch, like hair and beauty, things like that. A business sometimes involves just one person, or sometimes it actually involves thousands of people. It just depends. And then a customer is also someone who buys a product or a service, and we are going to look at what the difference between a consumer and a customer are, because there is a slight difference. So let's look at customers versus consumers. So a customer is actually someone who buys a product themselves, and a consumer is someone who actually uses it. So for example, if you buy a mobile phone, for example, and use it, you're the consumer and the customer. Now, if your parent buys it for you, your parents are the consumer and you are the, your parents are the customer and you are the consumer. So they are slightly different. So have a think and look around your room now. What have you bought? Are you both the consumer and the customer, or has some things been bought for you and you're just the consumer? See what you can find. So we also need to think about customers' wants and needs. In order for a business to be successful, you need to be able to have the needs and the wants of the customers effectively. Now, a need is a basic human requirement. We need to drink, we need to eat, but a want is a desire for a certain product. So you need to drink water, but you're choosing to drink a Coca-Cola or you're choosing to drink a Fanta. That's a want. And in order for a business to be successful, they need to tap into those needs, but also to try and get them to want to buy their product, and that is key. So there are 4 different functions of business, and it's important that you know these 4 functions. So we should, hopefully it's no surprise to you what the 4 functions are. So there's operations, so that's like the making of the products or service, so the actual how you deliver it or how you get that out to customers. You've got finance, which deals with the finances of the business. You've got human resources, who deal with the staffing of the business. And then you've got marketing, who deals with like promotion, market research, finding out what customers' wants and needs are. Now, these 4 functions are what we call interdependent. Now, that means if one thing happens in one department, it's likely to have an impact on the other functions of business. So as an example, if, for example, marketing is generating more sales, that's going to require more production from my operations function. Then it's going to require maybe longer hours from staff, which is to do with human resources, which then in turn, if that revenue from the extra sales covers the costs, it leads to more profit, which is your finance section. Okay, so we've got business environment, and this refers to all the outside factors of a business that can affect it. So looking at technological changes, economic changes, changes in the law, maybe environmental expectations from the government, maybe competitive environment, so that maybe the competitors have opened up near you, local business environments, national business environments, and your global business environments. Now, don't confuse business environment with environmental issues. They are 2 different things. So it's just making sure that you are aware that the business environment is different to environmental issues. So we know that the business world is very dynamic, and this means that it is always changing. So a business has got to keep adapting and change in order to make sure that it keeps up with everybody. So it's got to adapt with social changes, trends, with the economy, with technology, keeping up to date with that, competitors, and any political or changes in the law. So there are some business sectors that you need to know about. So the main ones are your primary sector, and this is first stage production. So this is like getting farm raw materials, your oil, basically raw materials in order to make other products. And you've got your secondary sector, so this is made up of organisations that are second stage of production process, so making those raw materials from your first stage into something else. So this is to like your manufacturers and your printers and things. Then you've got your tertiary sector. Now this is made up of organisations that provide services such as like an estate agent, for example, or a delivery business, something along those lines. And then you've got your private sector. So this is a business owned by private individuals, and your public sector is businesses owned by the government, like your NHS or schools. So let's have a look at nature of business enterprise and who an entrepreneur is. So we should have heard of this term, entrepreneur, and this is basically somebody who owns a business and has identified a business opportunity. They innovate and create new businesses, providing goods and services to customers, and they may organise resources and create something customers actually value. So why do people become entrepreneurs? Well, there's a number of different reasons. It could be to be their own boss, to keep all the profits. Maybe they need a job, maybe they've been made redundant and they need a job at that particular time. It could be that they just want to enjoy what they do and they've got an interest or a hobby and they make that into a business. They might have something to prove to themselves that they can actually run a business themselves. Maybe they want to do some sort of social enterprise that helps a particular cause or to help part of the community, like running a local cafe or a community library cafe, something along those lines. Maybe they're not happy in their current job, or they might just want to have more flexible hours and they can decide how they're going to work and where they're going to work. So characteristics of an entrepreneur are these things here. So, good organisational skills, maybe they've got initiative, they've got decision making, they're innovative, hardworking, they're determined, they're willing to take risks as well. That's an important one. So risks and rewards of being an entrepreneur, you've got, financial rewards, hopefully, over a certain amount of time, personal satisfaction, the fact that you're providing goods and services to meet customers' needs. But you've got risks, could be lower than expected sales, for example, maybe unexpected costs that's come up, maybe unexpected events. So if we think about COVID-19, sort of 5 years ago, unexpected events where a lot of businesses did not survive. So if we look at the types of business aims, you've got aims and objectives. So this is a general statement of what the owners or managers want to achieve. So for example, it might be to make more profits. Now an aim can be turned into a specific target. Now these are called objectives, and you generally would have a SMART target for an objective so that it can be measured. So it should be, what is the target? So it could be increased profit by 20%. When it needs to be achieved by, so that's in 2 years' time, who's achieving it and how is it going to be achieved. Now, businesses have typical aims that they will have and set themselves. So for a business starting out, it might be purely survival. 90% of businesses fail within the first 2 years. So for the first 2 years, it might be their aim of the business is to survive and then start to make profit. Now there's quite a lot of outgoings that have to be plugged into a business in the first year, especially of a business. So the chances of it making a loss is going to be likely. So it might be just breaking even, might be the aims and objectives of that particular business at that time. It could be profit maximizing. So if they are making profit, it could be to maximize that profit to make sure that they're making as much cost cutting as they possibly can to make sure they're getting the most profit that they possibly can. It could be customer satisfaction. So to making sure that their customers are happy, that's going to make them come back to your business in the future. Or it could be market share, so measuring the sales of one product or business as a percentage of the total market sales. They might want the majority market share. Some other objectives could be the fact that they want to be ethical, so what sort of the rights and wrongs, like paying their workers a reasonable wage. It could be social objectives, so they might want to set targets for the local community. Or it could be environmental sustainability, to make sure that they are reducing energy and maybe limiting their carbon footprint. It might be also like non-profit organisations, for example. For most of these is not the aim of profit, so it might be the fact that they want to provide a service to the local community. Now, as a business grows, objectives will change. So when starting a business, for example, as I spoke about, the objective is maybe just to survive. Now, in the first few years, a business may not make profit, which is completely normal, but over time you would expect that profit to build. And as an established business, it may change its objectives. Managers often want businesses to make and gain more sales and profit, and this growth may include developing more products, maybe expanding overseas for a new target market. So let's have a little look at different markets. So 3 different markets that are going to be on this 2025 specification are these 3 here. So local, knowing what local is, so that's like your geographical area, local geographical area, like a local bakery, something like that. Then you've got national, so this is the entire country, so like England, Wales, the UK, that would be your national. And then global is a worldwide market, so companies like Apple, Amazon, things like that are operate in many different countries, and that's your global. Now, these different markets are going to not be in the 2025 spec. This is going to be in the new spec. So business to business, or B2B. So this is where you have transactions and services between 2 businesses. So like a software company, for example, selling accounting software to other businesses. Then you've got business to consumer, so that's B2C, and this is businesses directly selling to the consumer. So like generally this would happen online. You go onto the Nike website and you would buy your trainers directly from Nike, rather than going maybe into Sports Direct, for example. Then you've got the mass market, so this is like refers to products that there's no real target markets. There's a large broad audience, so like soft drink companies, for example, Coca-Cola, they market to all ages, all backgrounds. Then you've got a niche market, and this focuses on specific smaller audiences, so like a company maybe selling vegan or organic pet food for the health conscious pet owners. That's quite a niche market. Then you've got seasonal, and this refers to products or marketing that are only in demand during certain times of the year, so like Christmas decorations, summer beachwear, Halloween costumes, things like that. So let's have a little look at your different business sectors. So again, this part isn't relevant for the 2025 paper. This is for the new specification. So you need to know for the new specification what the different business sectors are. So these are involving agriculture, for example. This is like cultivation of crops, livestock, farms, dairy products, fisheries. You've got construction. This is focusing on building infrastructure, including residential homes, commercial buildings, roads, and these are like construction companies, real estate developers. You've got your energy, so these are like your oil refineries, solar panel companies, power plants, and this is about distributing power, electricity, oil, gas. You've got your healthcare sector, so this is like medical services, research, health and well-being, hospitals, drug manufacturers, health insurance providers. Then you've got hospitality, and this covers service related to food, lodgings, entertainment, so like hotels, restaurants, event planning. And then you've got manufacturing, so this is production of goods from raw materials, so your secondary sector, if you like. You've got examples of that: car manufacturers, furniture manufacturers, etc. Then a sector within retail, so this is like selling your goods and services directly to consumers, or maybe through physical stores or online platforms, so like supermarkets, closed stores. You've got e-commerce websites, this is to do with retail. And then you've got science, and this covers research and development in fields like biology, chemistry and physics. So like your pharmaceutical research, space exploration, biotech companies are all to do with your science sector. Some other ones that might come up, you've got technology, so this is like your IT services, your tech giants like your Apple, Microsoft, cybersecurity firms. Then you've got tourism, and this covers travel, also accommodation and entertainment services as well. So looking at airlines here, travel agency, theme parks, cruise companies. And then within that as well, you have also got transport. So this is involving people and goods moving throughout and using rail, air, sea. So like airlines, shipping companies, public transport services there. So let's have a little look at sustainability. So within the 2025 spec, you need to know what sustainability is. This is referring to meeting present needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It focuses on using resources responsibly to ensure long-term well-being for people and the planet. Now, what you don't need to know for the 2025 spec, but you do need to know for the spec, the newest spec, is the 3 pillars of sustainability. So these are often broke down into these 3 key pillars. So first one is your economic sustainability, and this ensures businesses and economies can grow and remain profitable over time. It encourages fair wages, ethical trade and long-term financial planning. And examples for this is companies investing maybe in renewable energy to reduce your long-term costs. Then you've got environmental sustainability, and this focuses on protecting natural resources and reducing environmental harm. And it also includes actions like reducing pollution, conveying water, using renewable energy, and this is businesses like using biodegradable packaging to reduce waste as an example. And then you've got social stability, and this ensures that people and communities have good quality of life, equal opportunities and fair working conditions. It includes human rights, diversity, education and community well-being as well. Examples of this is companies ensuring fair wages and staff working conditions for employees is well managed. So thank you for watching the Carlin Cymru videos. There are other videos for business on the website, so please do take a look.